Hey guys, so today we're going to look at the coordinate geometry of the circle. So we just covered the coordinate geometry of the line, and then the next one is of the circle. And again, we're using formulas that are in the log tables. Just before I begin, not for this video, but for the next one, you will definitely need a compass. So that's in your math set, if you remember your math set, that had a compass, a protractor, and a couple of other little bits that you might use. But definitely the compass you need. Okay, so a lot of our circles that we'll be dealing with have the center point, so this here of 0, 0, so it's our origin. And that makes things a little bit easier for us when we're trying to find things like the radius, because once they give us a point that lies on the circumference of the circle, then we can go ahead and calculate the radius using the distance formula that we learned in the previous chapter for the coordinate geometry of the line. Okay, so we would have never covered this for junior cert. You would have talked about radius, but not so much coordinate geometry of the circle. So when we're just looking at this, just a little bit of a recap. The circumference is this circular part here. So it's actually the outside of the circle. And then you have the radius, which is the distance from the centre to the circumference. So you can see here it's marked as r. And finally, sometimes the question will ask for the diameter, which is the distance from the from circumference to circumference, so from here to the far side, but it has to go through the origin. So another thing we can call this is twice the radius. So if you imagine there, so that's the radius there from right out to the circumference, so it's just 2r. So if I want to find the value of the radius, what I actually want to do is I want to find the length of the radius. So we can use our distance formula from the previous chapter. Okay, so I have my distance formula now, and I just went ahead there and labelled my 2 points. So x1, y1, x2, y2, and I'm going to just substitute them into my equation. Okay, so I've done that, and we know that what we're trying to find is the value of r, so we can say that equals r. What I get here underneath the square root is x squared, because minus x squared is just x squared, plus y squared equals to r. And I just want to get rid of that square root. So if I want to get rid of a square root, the best thing for me to do is just to square both sides. So square it, square this, and what I get then is x squared plus y squared. So squaring both sides gets rid of the root, and I'm left with r squared. And this is my equation of a circle. Okay, so just note that this here is in the log tables. The reason I went and showed you how we actually get that formula is because sometimes you might actually need to know how to derive it. So if, for example, they gave us a point but they didn't give us one value of the point. But let's just focus on the basics for now. So find an equation with centre 0, 0 and radius of 4. So how I would go about that is this just straight substitution. So my centre is 0, 0, so I don't have to do anything with that. And my radius is 4. So what I'm going to get is x squared plus y squared equals to 4 squared, which we know x squared plus y squared equals to 16, and that's my equation of the circle. So I don't even have to do anything with this centre because it's 0, 0. I just want to find the equation of the circle. So just another example here again, just with a different radius this time. So we have x squared plus y squared equals to 6 squared. So x squared plus y squared equals to 36. And that's my equation of that circle. So that one's really, really simple once the centre is 0. Okay, so let's look at one that's a little bit tougher. Find the equation of a circle with centre 0, 0, and this time they've given us a point on the circle, so they haven't actually told us the radius. So you can see here from our equation, that's what we're missing. We're missing r squared. So if we were to graph this, we know that the point 0, 0 and the distance from 0, 0 to 3 minus 4 would give me the radius. So that's the first thing I'm going to have to do. I'm going to have to find the radius. And we do that using our distance formula. Okay, so I just wrote out my distance formula and I have gone ahead and labelled my points. So if I'm just going to substitute those points in. So I get the square root of x2 minus x1, so that's 3 minus 0 to be squared, plus y2 minus y1, so I get minus 4 minus 0, and I'm going to square that, and that gives me 3 squared, and then plus minus 4 squared, which will give me 3 squared is 9, minus 4 squared is 16, so that gives me root 25, which we know is going to be 5, and that's going to be my r. So you can write that in. Okay, so the second thing I'll need to do is find the equation of the circle. So now I have the radius. I can go ahead and use this formula up here and just substitute in my r. I don't have to substitute anything in for y. So I have x squared plus y squared equals, my r is 5 squared. So I know now that x squared plus y squared equals 25, and that's my equation of the circle. And I'm done. Okay guys, so I'm just giving you another question here. Pause the video, have a go at doing this yourself. So you should just look back over the notes you've taken on the last question, and then when you're done, press play and I'll go through the question. Okay, so we're just going to label my points: x1, y1, x2, y2, and I've already wrote out my formula just so I'm ready to go. So then if I go and substitute that in, okay, so just have substitute that in. So what I get then is 5 squared plus 4 squared, and that's going to give me the square root of 25 plus 16, which gives me root 41. Okay, now there is no root 41, it comes out as a decimal, so just leave it like that, that's fine. To go ahead and find the equation, then I'm just going to go ahead and substitute it into my formula above. So x squared plus y squared equals root 41 to be squared. Okay, and when I square that root 41, what we know from the very beginning of this video is that when you square a square root, you just get the number underneath the square root. So x squared plus y squared equals to 41.